from the outset, I am not an Ellen DeGeneres fan. So really it doesn't make a difference to me whether this show is canceled or not. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on my channel, Jibu2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe this evening. Let's get into it, obviously. So this came out from Variety, but of course this is actually based off of a BuzzFeed article that came about in the a few weeks ago. Excuse me. It was about how Ellen DeGeneres supposedly on her show, The Ellen Show, there was a hostile work environment, and many staffers had complained, at least 10 of them, about hostile, about racism, about bullying, about different situations on that show, and to the point that Warner Media, which obviously is the company that distributes the Ellen DeGeneres Show, they have placed the show under investigation. It says here the Ellen DeGeneres Show has become the subject of an internal investigation by Warner Media. Following numerous accounts of workplace problems on the long-running daytime series Variety has learned. The memo comes on the heels of a recent unflattering reports about working conditions at the show. In April, Variety reported on the treatment of legacy crew members during the coronavirus lockdown. In mid-July, BuzzFeed published a report alleging racism, intimidation on the show. The memo came from the desk of Telepictures Executive Vice President Donna Riederlinsk and WBTV Vice President of Human Resources Donna Hancock-Hussman. Now, let me just say this. I know of people, I've never met, obviously, Ellen DeGeneres, don't know her, never really thought she was funny. In fact, the only reason why Ellen DeGeneres why she has that show, from what I've heard and just from what I'm knowing, is because she's part of the alphabet crowd. I remember when Ellen DeGeneres had her own sitcom at one point back in the mid-90s, and that show didn't last that very long. I think in particular because her character came out as gay, which was controversial at that time. But now, of course, when you watch television media, I mean, it's hard not to see gay people on TV, but especially it's not the stereotypical kind of gay persons that you would see. You would just see the guys with the that will act real effeminate and have their shirts all tied up in a knot in the front above their belly button. They don't do that anymore. And of course, how they would show lesbians. It would usually, of course, be the typical biker chick look, where they have the fade on the mullet and wearing a wife beater or the shirt with without the sleeves. And of course, they had gay and they had homosexual characters in 1970 shows. I mean, the show Soap, Billy Crystal, I think, was the first actor that played an openly gay character on a regular basis, a regular series character on the show Soap, which was real popular back then in the 70s. And that show was, of course, is from where Benson took over. And Benson, of course, would star the great Robert Guillaume. He was obviously the opposite of the Stephen Fetchit character, or the Stephen Fetchit real actor that was portrayed in Hollywood films. That image of a subservient, dumb-witted Sambo. Because that's what, and I'm not mincing my words here, but that's what they thought of Stephen Fetchit, and that's how they portrayed him. But in reality, of course, the guy who was Stephen Fetchit, that actor in real life, he was the complete opposite of the character he portrayed. But anyway, I'm getting off of the topic, man. But get back on. Yeah, most of what I've heard from people that knew Ellen DeGeneres, so they had met her. Like, I know Judge Joe Brown personally. Judge Joe Brown has met Ellen DeGeneres on several occasions, and let me just tell you from what he described, he is not a fan of hers. She has actually, he told me once that she actually questioned why he was wearing his black robe, his judge's robe, while they were at a meeting or something like that. Because being that he was in Hollywood and he served on the daytime Emmy board and got those emails, he met a lot of those people in Hollywood, and he even told her, he had some choice words for her. I think she was, his neighbor at one point, and she was not very friendly. She and her wife were not very friendly to him. I think they had a problem with black men, in particular, straight black men. But that might be a reason why Ellen DeGeneres and Steve Harvey are good friends, because a lot of people have said things about Steve Harvey having a hostile work environment. Steve Harvey, if you remember, he had that memo that was sent out to all of his staff about how they meet him, how they're supposed to talk to him, don't approach him. They got to schedule a meeting to talk to him. And even when he moved his show to Los Angeles from Chicago, a lot of those people didn't even know that was going to happen, from what I understand. And here you see Ellen, she issued an apology for what happened on the show. Honestly, I could care less whether it is canceled or not. Of course, there are people talking about it being canceled or saying that her career is finished. Ellen DeGeneres has been on since 2003, I believe. Her show is over 17 years old. There's been over 3,000 episodes. I really don't watch it. I don't get it. I've never seen her as somebody that made me laugh out loud. And they're saying here, DeGeneres acknowledged a culture that did not reflect the values with which she started the 17-year-old franchise and pledged to do better. In addition, insiders firmly familiar with the series said executive producer Ed Galvin is set to exit his role immediately. Galvin is one of the producers that was named for creating that hostile work environment. Those included Andy Lassner and Mary Connolly. They will remain on board, says sources, as they were not the subject of staff complaints. But Galvin, apparently through a spokesperson, had no comment. The Warner Brothers spokesperson had no comment on Galvin, but did send a statement regarding the formal investigation. We have identified several staffing changes along with appropriate measures to address the issues that have been raised, and are taking the first steps to implement them. Warner Brothers and Ellen DeGeneres are all committed to ensuring a workplace based on respect and inclusion. We are confident that this course of action will lead us to the right way of forward for the show. Okay. Okay. So, I'm sorry, guys. I got this text. Yeah, so this came from a BuzzFeed report back in July where they investigated this. I've heard, again, a lot of people don't like Ellen DeGeneres, that she's not a nice person. And a lot of people in Hollywood, I'm just going to be real with you, a lot of them are assholes. That's just the truth. And I think it's a whole ego thing. I just read an article from Yahoo News about Ellen DeGeneres when she was in Australia. And apparently she was supposed to host the Today Show there. And the executive producer of the Today Show there, his name is Neil Bren. He revealed a bizarre encounter with the talk show host. Ellen DeGeneres came down in 2013 to do a promotional tour. Breen is now the host. He's a radio host now of 4BC. And he stated that the plan fell through. The whole thing got watered down to Ellen DeGeneres would do a sit-down interview with Richard Wilkins, Breen said. The executive producer and Wilkins arrived at one of the Flash hotels in Melbourne where the interview was going to be filmed. They controlled everything. He said about Ellen's army of producers. They controlled the interview, seats, the lights, how it would work, everything. Before Ellen arrived, Breen claimed he and Wilkins were given a briefing by one of the talk show host producers and were told to abide by some strict rules. The producers called us aside and said, okay, this is how it's going to work here this morning. Ellen's going to arrive at 10:15, and she'll be sitting in this chair here. And Richard, you'll be sitting in this chair here. Neil, no one is to talk to Ellen. You don't talk to her. You don't approach her. You don't look at her. She'll come in. She'll sit down. She'll talk to Richard, and then Ellen will leave. Breen said he was shocked by the producer's comments. I sort of said, are you fair dinkum? I can't look at her, he recalled on 4BC. Breen added that Ellen was surrounded by hangers-on during the interview, and they continually interrupted Wilkins' chat. Every word she said, all these producers would giggle and laugh, Breen said. I had to ask them to be quiet because we were filming an interview. I'm not blaming Ellen because I didn't get to talk to her, because I wasn't allowed to, so I don't know if she's a nice person or not. I wouldn't have a clue. He continued, but I can tell you the people who worked with her walked on eggshells the whole time, and the whole thing was totally bizarre. So that's one person's experience, I guess, being around Ellen. And this, you'll probably see, this will be the last time or one of a few times I really talked about it. But I wanted to talk about it because it piqued my interest just because of all that was going on in the world. You know, you have a talk show host like Ellen DeGeneres who modeled, from my understanding what Paul Mooney said, she modeled all of that dancing in front of the audience and in the audience by Flip Wilson, because Flip Wilson used to do that on his talk show, on his comedy show, I should say. I shouldn't say talk show, his sketch show. And Flip was, of course, the biggest black television's first black superstar, according to Time magazine in 1970 when he debuted on that NBC pilot. So as far as it goes with Ellen, man, you know, hey, more power to you, boy. Ellen got to get it to. She seems like she's in trouble. What y'all think? Y'all leave a comment, subscribe, like this episode. I think she's really put her foot in her mouth. I doubt if she gets fired. I doubt that will happen because, I mean, talk show is already boring as it is already. It's certainly not the same, I think, in the last, I want to say the last at least 15 years. At least 15. Maybe more than that, because it used to be diverse, where you had, you know, obviously a talk show. Let's say you, and I know I didn't watch Oprah, don't get me wrong, but you know, you had Oprah Winfrey, you had Donahue. Donahue was big, but Donahue was a journalist. He allowed his guests to speak. He was objective. You had, of course, the late night talk shows that people used to watch. So, you know, I just think that this is funny, and it's very interesting. But you guys, excuse me, sorry about that. You guys leave a comment. Please like and subscribe to the like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also donate to the platform if you can at Cash App links as well as the Google Pay links. They will be available in this description. What do y'all think of Ellen DeGeneres? Do you think stay or nay? I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers don't even listen to her. But I didn't want to bring this up, man, because I thought it was funny. You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.